didn't understand that at the time. And as soon as I did kind of come to terms with the fact that he'd split himself into two characters, then I felt I was able to write the thing. And I shifted the girl over to the other side of the enemy camp. I mean, this movie is Johnny's, you know. I mean, this is why I'm sitting here. I would not be here for anyone but him, you know.
Well,
oh, I think I'll have an asthma attack now.
While he's choking, I will say, you know, in terms of the economics, I mean, the beauty was that Bruce, when he finally cracked it, and called me and said, "I understand now. You know, these two characters must go into one. It's got to be Hunter. Must be Hunter, only Hunter." Death?
Really?
No, he's all right.
Can I have some more of your coffee?
I think it's gone away.
Oh,
where's Nathan? His first draft was essentially the shooting draft.
I have an inhaler. You need it?
Do you have one? How much?
Can we do
You gonna charge us?
Free if you let me into the after party. I'm under 21.
You're in.
No.
Sorry.
Are you?
All right.
Can I take one from University of Washington, UW? Well, I'm going to. So then we'll come. Stay put over there. This is Cassini. I'm going to say Cassini. Does that look right to you?
Cassini.
Yeah. Okay. It says, "How did you research the role?" Now, of course, you played older Hunter Thompson. Now you're playing
Yeah.
Origin Hunter Thompson.
It was interesting, you know, because having played Raoul Duke, which is the sort of essentially the full-blown Hunter Thompson, circa 71, 72, but also, I mean, he was the Hunter Thompson, you know, up until 2005, the one that I knew. It was kind of a great challenge that Bruce and I shared. How do we approach this guy? How do we approach Hunter before he found his voice? And luckily, Hunter was so incredibly generous with me over those years that he gave me, you know, I knew him so well that he gave me those, you know, those sort of moments. He gave me, he told me about himself and schooled me about himself before he had found that outlet, you know. So yeah, that was basically it. It was, you know, the idea is how do you sort of trim off the edges of that kind of flamboyant character, and find what he was like pre-freedom, you know.
You were able to go back to the later full-blown version a little bit in Rango as well, yes?
There was a moment or two, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's stay. Oh, look, it's Austin at Columbia College. That would be in Chicago, I believe. To the director, that would be you. Do you feel like you needed to live up to the infamous Fear and Loathing, or did you start from scratch?
Completely from scratch. One of the things you have to do as a screenwriter, which for my sins I am, is read the source material and throw it away, because otherwise you're stuck in trying to. I mean, I'll give you an example of this. Is that my favorite book on earth is David Copperfield, and it's 900 pages long. It took Dickens 2 years to write, and if I was asked to write it as a flick, what am I going to do? I've got 105 minutes. So you have to absorb the essence of what it is you're trying to write and make it your own. And certainly with the Rum Diary, there was no way I was going to sit there and in my writing room and think, oh, what did Hunter say here? What was this scene here? I wanted to be in the vernacular of Hunter S. Thompson, who, you know, we all incredibly admire, but I couldn't try and write like him. So I read the book a couple of times, threw it away, and then wrote my version of him, of what I thought Hunter would be in my head when I was writing this thing. And indeed, there are only literally 2 lines of the book in the film. Great lines they are too. One is, have some fun with a fucking Luger, which is one of the lines, and we'll be lucky to find an oil spot when they're looking for the car. But I had to kind of just love him, which I genuinely do as a writer. He was one of the great 20th century writers, him and old Bill Burroughs and 1 or 2 others, but he was such a great writer, Hunter, and he really affected me as a writer, even though I found him later in my life.
In the room.
Apparently that's what he did.
In the room to the right.
Hi, thanks to both of you for being here. There were many things that I really enjoyed about the film, but in the spirit of Hunter Thompson and the rage that you're talking about, I want to, not
coming?
quite rage, but I just want to ask you a little bit about something that bothered me a bit in the film, which was the portrait.
Me?
You, Johnny, you.
Yeah. Oh, I had the same problem.
Yeah. Unwatchable.
Yeah, I know.
No,
I had the same problem with every film I do.
there you go.
Isn't that weird?
No,
We
it's
should
about
probably move in together, shouldn't we? We see
What's
eye
that?
to eye, don't we?
What's that?
You and I.
Yep. Hey, I was an actor for a while. If
Where
you
are you
need a
going with this,
stand-in,
man?
I'm in.
Are you? Is
What's that?
this like a weird pickup?
It is.
Focus.
It's not going very well.
I think it's going very well, actually. I am intrigued. I am.
Well,
What is it?
the question is about the
Come forward, young man.
I will. Find me afterwards. I'll be in the bathroom.
Are you selling tickets?
What's happening?
In the bathroom.
All right. Somehow veering my
What are
way
you going
back
to be
on
doing
the
in the
track.
bathroom now?
Yeah.
I'm not turned
okay.
on anymore, by the way.
What's that?
I'm not turned on anymore.
Okay.
All right, keep
Close.
going. What?
It was a good
what?
try. Okay, I want to ask you about the portrayal of Puerto Ricans in the film. To me, it seemed like there were a lot of violent men and sort of sexualized women, and that bothered me a bit. I'm curious whether that was something you were concerned about, or what your thoughts are on that.
Is your feeling that the Puerto Ricans portray themselves badly?
No,
I mean, the Puerto Ricans in the film, because they were actually Puerto Rican actors.
I guess
actually-
I'm just curious about in the writing of the film when you were creating some of those secondary characters. How did you conceive of them, and was that something that you thought about?
I think really the film. I mean, you know, at its core is you know what enraged Hunter was the idea of the despoilization of a paradise. You know, when Cuba, for example, in '59 was no longer available to the U.S. government, where do they go? Puerto Rico. What's next? Let's take it. Let's take it. Let's have it. Let's chew it up. Let's churn it out. And so essentially, I mean, that's really what was going on. But I don't see anything in the film that is misrepresentative to Puerto Rico or to Puerto Ricans at all. I think it represents very, very well the truth, in the sense that this horrific capitalist monster was coming in there with, you know, gnashing teeth, and it commenced around then, and they're still gnashing, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
You just shook your head when he asked the question. So do you want to comment or
Well,
move on?
yeah. If I may.
We're going to see him in the bathroom later, don't we?
Yeah, we can have a follow-up discussion.
Both of us.
Discussion.
What will he do? The whole thing, which is the motor drive of the movie in a sense, is, you know, when you see West Side Story and you see these gangs in New York who were basically Hispanic gangs, what happened in the 1950s is that the US moved into Puerto Rico with the United Fruit Corporation, and everyone who worked there on, you know, pineapples or whatever it was, were thrown out of work because the equipment moved in, and now it was big business. And so the Puerto Ricans suddenly found themselves, after 500 years, having no jobs, nothing to do. They couldn't do the fruit anymore, and then they moved to New York, and that is West Side Story, you know. And then it's the same thing in England, you know. We fuck them up, and then they come over here to our country, and then we kind of are critical of them finding work in our country. And that's exactly what happened in Puerto Rico. It was a very, very bad time in the 50s and 60s for the Puerto Ricans, you know. They were really torn to bits as a society. Anyway, fuck it.
Thanks.
He's made me have coffee too.
Do you think this is too much of a repeat here from Trey Morgan at Fort Hays State University, or you want to? We can all vote on this. Do we want to take the Fort Hays State University question? How is your approach to portray a younger Hunter S. Thompson different than your previous portrayal in Fear and Loathing? Was it more challenging this time?
We've answered that one.
I think we've covered the ground, but I mean, of course, yeah, it was infinitely more challenging because it was a kind of a version or a sliver of Hunter that I had to discover, you know, after he'd already made his exit, you know.
So over to this side.
Hi. I have a question for Mr. Robinson. What's one of the most important things in screenwriting you think anyone interested in getting into the field should know and consider when writing?
You should all see and read Withnail and I, for starters.
Oh,
That is
seven people have.
That's I'm sorry. Withnail and I is I swear to you, like in the top 3 films of my absolute all-time favorites. You know, up there with To Have and Have Not and Time of the Gypsies. Withnail and I is a must-see, and if you guys don't have a copy, I'll send each one of you one.
Oh, it's an Oprah moment. Okay. Not a car for everybody, but a
And you know what? I'll make coffee in the morning as well as waffles. Go ahead.
She's looking for screenwriting guru tips.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's a good question.
No, it is a good question. Christ, what do I do? The only thing I do when I try and write a script is to see it as a big picture, and I have a big wall in my writing room where I just write down ideas all the time. Then I suffer because it's incredibly difficult. It's a real underrated craft in my view, and it's incredibly difficult to do, but I do it in basically 3 acts. There was a fantastic American writer whose name escapes me. I'll get to it when I get to what he said. He said all screenplays are the same thing. Put a man up a tree, throw rocks at him, bring him down the tree. 1, 2, 3 acts. And that's what I always adhere to. Who said that, Johnny? You have no idea?
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
But I like
I think I may have made it up.
I think Bruce Robinson said that, actually.
Thank you.
Well done, yeah.
Over to the right.
Hi. Firstly, I wanted to thank y'all for coming to Austin. My question digresses a bit from the previous questions, but Mr. Depp, personally, my favorite roles that you've played are the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland, Sweeney Todd, and Edward Scissorhands. And I wanted to know which, out of these 3 roles, which one did you enjoy the most, and what was your main inspiration behind these roles?
And before you answer her...
By the way, it's S.J. Perlman said that.
There you go. S.J. Perlman. Good call. Good call. Before, as you answer this, again, you say you do not like to watch yourself acting, but now you're producers, so don't you have to watch the films you produce? Like, for example, this one. And also, is it true that you absolutely can't watch yourself in 3D because you don't watch 3D?
I can't see in 3D. I literally cannot. I've never seen anything in my life in 3D because I have a gamey left eye.
Okay. We confirm?
No, but like for real.
Rumor confirmed?
Kind of for real.
Okay. Now to her question.
And I don't. I don't.
Are you going to smoke?
Do you think I should?
Are you going to?
Are you threatening me? He wants me to light this thing on fire. It's probably a bad idea, isn't it?
I have no responsibility. Do what you want.
Oh, wow. I mean,
that might be. This night might be over in about 30 seconds, people.
we're going to be fine.
No, he made us do it.
We're going to be fine because, Christ, we're adults, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to be fine. So I don't actually like to. I can't stand watching myself. It's on film. It just makes me. I don't know. What I like is I like the process. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the work. I enjoy the sort of collaborative effort, and that's really what it's all about for me. In terms of the films you speak about, like Sweeney, which was quite a challenge, or Edward Scissorhands. Without question, Edward Scissorhands for me was the most important thing I've ever done to date, because it helped me, after I'd done Crybaby with John Waters, which was it was a move, a conscious maneuver on my part, in a sense that after they'd offered me these horrible things, with, like where you just carry guns and dry hump some young woman, which is not a bad thing per se, but in the context of cinema, I just felt it might have been done one or two times prior. So Crybaby was a step forward in a direction that I knew I wanted to go. Edward Scissorhands was, for me, the dream, because it was like solidifying. It was like I was on solid ground, and no matter what happened after that film, I had made my statement in terms of cinema. I'd done Crybaby, I'd done Edward Scissorhands, and if I had to go back to being a gas station attendant, I was fine to do that, and I thought it was going to happen, and it still might, but no, I was well prepared for it. So, in terms of your question, I think yes, Scissorhands was without a doubt the most important thing I've ever done.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks. Why did the microphones go?
It's good. It's all good.
Is it?
Yeah. So uncredited name, uncredited school, Phoenix, Arizona wants to know pretty much a similar question again, but I'll read it off. Another Hunter S. Thompson work. What influence has he had on your development and or influence as an artist/human? Human.
Human. Well, there's a problem there already. I mean, Hunter had a profound effect on me as a human being, certainly, and as an artist. If I can call myself an artist, I'm not sure I can, but Hunter was one of those things, the uncompromising, straight to the heart of the matter, no bullshit, just full on, no turning back into the center of the storm. So I mean, he was a great influence on me, and still is to this day. It's been, Christ Almighty, it's been 6 years. I wake up with him every day, and I put my head on the pillow every night, and he's with me.
Yeah,
So-
and certainly as far as I'm concerned, the thing that Hunter did for me as a writer was teach me not to use adjectives. You know, it was a golden, gossamer, marigold dawn. No, it was dawn. And I really learnt that from Hunter, and even though the thing that you guys never heard of is this thing with Nell and I, it was actually written before Fear and Loathing, and then when a flatmate of mine gave me Fear and Loathing to read, it was a total revelation to me that there was someone was writing without adjectives and just hit that point always, and he's still a real influence on me as a writer. And I hate the word, the B-L-O-C-K word, but sometimes when I feel B-L-O-C-K-E-D, I'll pull out a bit of Hunter and see how it's done. He was a phenomenal writer, a really genuinely important American writer, and the only person since Mark Twain who had shoved himself into the actual narrative of his reporting. And he's going to last, this man, you know. He's quite extraordinary man, I think.
Yeah, hold on one sec. He's telling me what to do, but I'm disobeying. On the Gonzo, the Hunter Thompson documentary, you're in it as the narrator. You read a bunch of the work, and I think you were instrumental, basically, in just getting the film made. So, would you recommend that if people want to have an arm's length experience of the man and the work, is that a good viewing experience?
Oh, that's great. No, that's the Alex Gidney film, Gonzo, is a great source of Hunter. I mean, it's pure Hunter, and it was made out of love and respect, and you know, I think, you know, the filmmakers got it in a large way, because, as Bruce said, you know, Hunter Thompson is one of the, for me and for many, is one of the most important writers of the 20th century, and because he made his exit in the 21st, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, that's he dictated the way he would live, and he dictated the way he would die, and that's okay by me, you know. But the most important thing is that his legacy lives on, and that people read the work, because it is unique. It is as important as, for me, as Baudelaire or Poe or Burroughs or Kerouac, you know.
This is going to be the last question in the room.
Hi.
I'm so inspired by your journey and the courage that you had, going from a guitarist to an actor, and oh my God, just taking, just progressing in your career constantly, and I don't know, I just respect so much that creativity that you have, and I just really wanted to know, when is the next time that we can see you writing and doing more and producing more of like your own work, and kind of just concentrating your own creativity? And also, where do you get your hats? Because I can't find them anywhere.
Well, I've got a few, and if you want to, I'll send you a hat for sure. Will you give me your address? If you give me your, if you write it down, I swear I'll send you a, yeah. I'll be happy to, yeah. Oh, I'd be glad to, yeah.
In some cases, the meek shall not inherit the earth, the bold shall inherit a hat.
There's a thing, you know, I don't know what it is, and Bruce, most of you will probably understand this, and Bruce certainly does, you know. the brain needs to be occupied at all times, because it's otherwise it's a feral beast. You know, we must deal with it, and we must acknowledge it, and whatever outlet there is, whether it's acting. I mean, I stumbled upon acting. I literally did, and I didn't. That was not a conscious decision early on. I didn't want to be an actor. I was a musician and a guitar player, and that's all I wanted to be. I didn't want spotlights. I didn't want attention. I didn't want anything. You know, I asked for nothing. I just wanted to play the guitar. Cool.
Can you all see her hand?
Oh, wow. What have you done? What have you done?
Just made friends.
Oh, you made a date? You made a date? No, the reality about Johnny is, I've got to say this, I don't mind saying it with him, because I probably, I don't know, I couldn't give one damn about doing this again. Is I did the film with Johnny because of who he is. He is a remarkable artist, you know, and none of you guys know probably, well, a few of you probably know how great a musician he is. He's an incredible musician. And he's also an incredible painter. You know, it's true. I have this enormous picture in my home in England that he gave me of Keith Richard, that is painted on cigarette papers. It's about 6 feet by 6 feet. It's just a really beautiful piece of art. He's the reason we're here, is he not? And that's the reason I did it with him. What? No, it's.
You're right. Absolutely right.
We have come to an end, which you've been asking to do for the last 20 minutes. So
Yeah. No, I don't like all of this stuff.
Well, you've done very well for not liking it. We're going to sign off to our friends on the DepNet all over America.
DepNet.
Yeah, and come back and we'll give you an honorary degree sometime if you want.
You know what? That'd be killer. Thank you. Wow. You know, wouldn't that be great for a high school dropout to get an honorary degree? I can be a doctor.
That would be great. Okay, yeah. Rum Diary is opening next Friday. Tell everybody you know to see it and see it yourselves again. And thank you, Johnny Depp, and thank you, Bruce Robinson.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.